Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Happy New Year. Hope that it's treating you well. I don't feel like a new man. Never mind. I'm not even going to say that. I feel like someone who made it through another year, and we're on to 2025.
Yep.
Which is crazy because that means that we're already into a quarter of 21st century, basically,
Yep.
which is wild. I don't think I will make it to see 21 just because it's 75 years away and I'm already 40. That would be crazy. I would be like Noah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
that's okay. That's okay. We won't go down that road. Yeah. So hope everybody had a great New Year celebration, and hope everybody from the last episode remembered that if you need to get a new membership, now is the time to do it. Seeing as how your 2024 membership is expired,
Mhm.
and so re-up on that and help out the organization. And also, too, I do know that there is some cool things coming down the pipeline for a membership drive. And Danny, you're probably the one that's got more insight into that
Mhm.
than me. I just get to see
I
things
do, but
from the window outside of on the sidewalk.
nobody gets to know. I'm not spoiling the surprise.
When it starts, that you can't even give that away.
Membership is now. You should always be driving for members. That's no. It is technically starting today, but we definitely didn't try to jump right into it. First of the year, first of the month, all those things. It's really pretty demanding.
That is
So
hard,
instead, yeah, it's things will start coming out in the next week. I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was the 7th and the 12th. I'd have to look at it. But we'll have some new announcements. We made some changes to the tier list on what you get for each tier. Last year was good. It's the first time doing it. We didn't really know what we could do. Again, as a nonprofit, how do we offer more value?
Yeah.
In order to ask for more of a donation. And that's always something that we're looking at. And I think we hit it out of the park this year. Last year we did the keychain, the t-shirt, and those were cool. The keychain didn't really live up to our expectations. So we moved away from that. It was just not the product that we expected it to be, basically. It was fine. It was good.
Well, I heard as always, buttons are always or pins are always the thing that they trump everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish somebody would have told the board of directors to get one for the convention for the last 4 years. Be cool. Yeah. Pens are the best. The
Hey, you know
best.
what though?
Top
That
of the
sounds
top.
like that sounds like another great membership thing to maybe put into a members only online shop where you can get
If you
pins
agree
or
with
something.
Danny that pens are great, is that a poll? Oh, no, you meant shopping for them. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Just
Um,
flood info at homedad.org with emails about how much you love
all you got to
and
do is
have
just Danny
the
was right.
collector pins.
That's all you got to put.
That's the subtitle.
Everybody will know right where
That's
it
the
goes.
subject. That's the
It's right in the
subject. Danny is
trash.
right. And then I need pins for these
I need
conventions
pens.
as in this.
And the other thing we're kicking around, and this is something that we'll definitely be talking about, is getting another patch. Like
Oh,
we got the
yes.
patch for St. Louis, and that bag was just amazing. Again, Delvin Valera, thank you, thank your mom. They're just the best. But it's also got a lot of empty space on it. And what if you wanted to bring that bag again and get a patch and sew that on or something like that? Which I think that's a great idea too, because patches, I wouldn't say they trump pins, but they're right up there with them. You know,
They're definitely a good companion for sure.
hmm
I would
If you
definitely
do
give it that.
patches, then it's obviously patches are better than pens for you. But then
I,
I don't like to
yeah.
sew, so that's kind of why I
I
would prefer something that I don't have to sew. That's all.
that's my superpower, man. That's my superpower. I'm a superpower seamstress.
Nice, nice.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, sewing is not a big thing for me, so I would probably be more of a patches.
Yeah, we're going into the membership drive again with just the understanding that we do have things we need to do for the organization. And I want to reiterate that this is still all a completely voluntary organization. None of the board members, nobody gets paid for anything that we do. And I'm saying that because I don't like to ask for money, period. I just don't. But you have to. An organization like ours won't survive if we don't have a membership drive, or even, if we had a big sponsor show up suddenly, give us $30,000, that'd be great. But the reality is that we keep our budget as close as we possibly can. We spend it only on the things we absolutely have to. And we're very, very frugal when it comes to the things that we do. Having a membership helps us so much. It really, really just changed the almost the entire framework of our organization away, and the things that we're able to do, things that we're able to reach out to other organizations with. And for me personally, the Fatherhood Overcoming Adversity Fund is the coolest change that we've made in recent years. Because it was, and it's not all the donations are different, of course, but it's not part of the membership drive, but things like that is what we're trying to build funds for. We're not trying to build funds to even to advertise or market, really. We're just looking for ways that we can help other organizations or other individuals. And the membership drive is probably going to become more and more important for us each year. I think we're going to be doing more things. We might do live stuff. We have a lot of ideas. You and I have talked a lot about ideas about things we could do. And the old, Jerry Lewis telethon feel to it, the NPR tiers of value. All those things are things that we're looking at as models for how we want to operate. And I think we'll do better this year. I know we'll do better this year than we did last year. We didn't do bad, but we'll do better. We'll do better every year,
Definitely. Well, I was just thinking about that. You mentioned overcoming adversity, and James Lopez was a big part of getting that kind of, started with just kind of honoring him for that. I remembered that Art Eddy posted in the Dad Bloggers private group that I'm in, a little update on him, and he's doing well. Of course, his wife says that life is definitely will never be the same.
Okay, hang on. So you're talking James is doing well.
Yes, James
not
is
Art.
doing well.
Okay, all
Sorry,
right. So,
yeah, Art posted this.
Gotcha, because Art just did did a repost or what have you. It's not him. Okay,
Yeah.
just checking because
So this is
I had a moment. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's wrong with Art. I don't know. So
I apologize. Yeah, so Art Eddy posted about James in the Dad Bloggers Facebook
Gotcha.
group, and it actually was something that his wife Kim sent Art, and Art posted it, but basically said that James is doing well, that life will definitely never be the same, but they are adapting while still finding new ways to make things happen. And they still have like the GoFundMe page going for him and things like that. I mean, the picture that they have of him, like, he looks good. Obviously, there are definitely things that stand out, that he looks different in a way, but at
sure.
the same time too, like, he definitely looks healthy, and just they're doing what they can. So yeah. So, and if you want more information on that, I'll post in the in our show notes a link for his GoFundMe as well, for anybody who's considering that. So something there. But yeah, basically because of what happened with his medical stuff, that's what sort of spurred on to do the Overcoming Adversity Fund.
right.
So yeah, turning the page to 2025 and other things that have gone on. Danny and I, we figured we'd share a little bit about what went on with Christmas, and just sort of the end of the year stuff. And so end of the year, after because we batch recorded a few different episodes and stuff, and so I hope everybody really enjoyed those. It was fun to to just kind of put all those together and get those out so that we could also enjoy our family time together. I had mentioned Lights Under Louisville in one of the episodes, and Corey surprised me by saying that she wanted to do just like a quick trip down to Louisville to just sort of end the year on a positive after everything that we had been going through. And so we hopped online. I found a hotel for a good price. We bought tickets online to go to Lights Under Louisville, and we surprised the kids as part of their advent for the month
Nice.
with the trip. And they like that show on Netflix called Blown Away, which is like a glass blowing competition.
Hmm.
They like all that kind of stuff, like baking competitions, and I enjoy it too. It's fun. It's much better than watching Survivor or something like that. Sorry for all you Survivor fans out there.
Just alienated half our listener base.
Yeah, that's
No,
okay. That's
I don't know.
okay. We went down, and there's this glass blowing studio down there on the backside of the Louisville Slugger Museum and Bat Factory. And so we get down
Nice.
there, and like one side of the studio is all of the like glow forges. So like
Mhm.
where they're actually doing stuff with like the big, pieces of glass, that kind of deal. So that was fun to watch. And of course, they're making mostly Christmas ornaments was the big thing because it was so close to Christmas. And then on the other side of the shop of the building, there was a gentleman over there doing flame work. So the difference between the two is that with flame work, like it's basically just this like torch that's just, he can control like how hot the flame
Mhm.
gets. So like, I mean, if he wanted to turn it blue, which is the hottest, he was showing how he could do that. And I was like, that's crazy. But he was making like a candy dish. I guess he's got like a corporate guy that orders
Cool.
ornaments or something for like all of his employees every year. And then he makes a special one of a kind thing for the owner because he always asks for something like that. And so he took the ornament and then added a candy dish on top of it. And it looked fantastic. And it was so cool to sit there and watch him make it.
Yeah.
So the kids were all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun to do that.
It's such an amazing art form because I mean you see the things that they're doing with these things and you recognize, okay, that's glass. It's going to be glass in a minute. And that it's so brittle, of course, in its way, but it's like they're moving clay around almost, or well, molten glass, obviously. They're moving. That's what they're moving around.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
Well,
incredible.
and they can paint with it, which is the thing that I did not realize. Like I've always
I
known
didn't
like,
either.
typically when you see like colors in glass, like a lot of times it's like crushed glass that's that color.
Hmm.
But he was doing a thing where he had these sticks of glass that were different colors and he would heat
Ah.
them up and then he would literally like paint like he made lines down this side and that's what actually made the stripes for the candy dish. And so just stuff like that, it was so fun to watch and the kids were really eating it up. And the one thing that I see more than anything is that when people are showing their craft and exhibiting it, they are very appreciative of anybody that stops by. Adults
Hmm.
have the money, of course, but what they really like is when kids are into it,
Yeah.
like, and not asking to like, can we go now? Like, that's boring. Like, they're actually sitting there and they're into it and they're asking questions. And my kids were doing that. And there was another family that showed up and their kids were interested in it as well, but not as interested because they were teenagers, so they were
Yeah.
trying to stay cool as well.
Sullen silence.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we did that, and then we walked them out and around, and this was so funny to where the front of the Louisville Slugger Bat museum was, and there's a huge bat there. It's like the world's largest baseball bat is there, and
Oh, neat.
they immediately see this massive baseball bat, and they're like, "Whoa!" And they like run up and hug it like it's some like gigantic tree or whatever. And I have a photo of them like doing that.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, we just had a good time. Like we picked a hotel out that had a swimming pool, so we got to go swimming. And
Hmm.
then we did Lights Under Louisville the next morning because doesn't matter when you go to Lights Under Louisville, it's underground.
Hmm.
So we went at like
9 o'clock in the morning. Still be. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we went like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. It was no big deal. Let me just tell you, if you've done any drive-through Christmas light thing outside, this exhibit trumps them all
Ooh.
because you don't have a radio signal down there. And when you're underground, the temperature down there is a consistent 56 degrees,
Hmm.
so it's comfortable. So what they had was just 40 minutes of driving through this cavern, like just, kind of twisting your way through. And there was different music playing in different parts of the cavern. There was always music playing, but it was just, their like stereo system pumping it out. And then there was just all kinds of cool exhibits. You could have your windows down the entire time, which was
Hmm.
really neat.
Yeah.
And you're only driving like 4 miles an hour too, which is nice. So it's like, you're just putzing along. But man, they had so many neat exhibits and did so many things. There was even a laser light show at one point.
Cool.
Like, and you think about it, like it's dark down there. Like they can do an amazing laser light show because they don't
Mhm.
have any natural light hitting it at all. So it was a great time. Like even for the price and stuff, like it was just a wonderful experience. Lots of photos, lots of videos. The kids were losing their minds throughout the whole thing, and
Awesome.
just lots of excitement. And then we drove home. That was our trip. Like it was just a
Yeah.
quick down and out. So
I think that's an awesome way to do a trip too. Don't go for 3, 4, 5, 7 days. I mean, you can for certain things, but something like that, go stay in a hotel. They could swim in the pool. Next day, do the thing, eat a
yep.
meal together, or picnic somewhere and head home. Chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Love
it
it.
was fun. And then we went to when we went to lunch there at the hotel, we met a family who they're from the Finger Lake, New York area,
Yeah.
and they were driving down to New Orleans, and apparently Louisville is like the halfway point for like a full like 20-hour drive down there.
Hmm.
And so they spent the night, and it was just fun, like talking to them. So that was there anything. Like there were just tons of people like traveling. Like it seemed like the majority of people were like it was literally that, like it was a rest stop
Hmm.
hotel because it was only like a couple days before Christmas, so that made it fun too.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
What was yeah? And say what did you guys do?
We went to the in-laws' house. Well, we stayed home for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and we stayed home for one additional day. So what we're trying to do with our families is you spend Christmas Eve and Christmas Day at your house, and that way your kids get up in the morning at your tree and open their presents and what have you. And then we have the bigger gathering where we will give presents to like nephews and nieces and all that. And then we do a secret gift exchange. Basically, you kind of spin a wheel and you get a person's name, someone in the family's name, and then they have a list of like a wish list that you can buy something off of. And I think there's a dollar limit on it. I don't remember what it was, but it's a reasonable dollar limit, right? And that was fun. It was really cool. I will say holidays have always given me anxiety. Going over other people's houses has given me anxiety. Just a trauma baby reaction that, whenever I signal, whenever I feel love, my body signals danger, and I go into, start hyperventilating. And I did really well this year. And I have to say, for me personally, that's probably has been my goal all year, is to be able to handle normal activities without, breaking down. So,
That's a great
but it
win.
was, it really is. And it was really cool just seeing the extended family. Marnie's family is amazing. They're just amazing. We make jokes with some of my friends here in town that there's got to be something wrong with them. I've never met anybody that have something going. There's something, some hidden thing somewhere, and like, no, they haven't got. There's hardly any divorces. There's not. No, they're just a good, happy family. And every time we're like, are they? What's going on? And evidently nothing. They're just a good, happy, normal family. So we had a really good time with them. The kids had a blast, and I introduced my brother-in-law and his son to Dungeons and Dragons.
Ooh.
And that is hook, line, and sinker. They're set. They're gonna play. They were like, "Is there any way you could do like a virtual game? We could play together." And I'm like, "Okay, look, yes, but I'm out of time, right?" But we had because they've been interested, and he's always been interested in fantasy stuff, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and just all the standard stuff. But Marnie was convinced that no one in her family would ever play D&D because they just weren't that geeky. They weren't quite be able to jump the shark and get as weird as we are, but they loved it. Uh,
How old are the kids?
he's 12, just turned 12, I
Okay.
think, 11 or 12, somewhere in there.
Man, they
Um,
would probably love Tales of the Stinky Dragon,
yes,
like that podcast, because
yeah,
that's like
it's great.
just the way they talk and stuff is like right in that realm.
Hmm. Yep. And I will say I went probably above and beyond to make this the best game they'll ever play. because I wanted them to be hooked. I would love it if every like New Year's or Christmas they're like, Danny, you gonna run a game this year? Yeah, I can do that. Or maybe you can. And I got I went in and built some terrain. And it's basically it's 5 by 5 squares, and there's 12 of them, so the 3 by 4, and all but 4 of them rise up on skewers so that they can change the height of it. And so they change randomly, or the players could change them, and then had this huge arena battle there, and brought out every crazy monster that I had a mini for, including a dragon and a. Do you know what a beholder is by chance? It's the eyeball
No.
monster. Okay. It's a big eyeball with a bunch of eye stalks, like 9 or 10 eye stalks. And it's incredibly destructive. It has its main eye beam is it just on and off whenever it wants it to. And it's anti magic. So anything inside it, none of your magic works. Your armor, weapons, spells, nothing. So for a D&D based game, which is a lot of heavy magic stuff, you're dead in the water. I mean, you go from being, I'm amazing to, oh man, I barely shoot the ground. And each of the 9 or 10 eye stalks does a different thing. They'll charm you, they'll disintegrate you, they'll be just all sorts of horrible, horrible things, right? So I put one in, and they're 5th level, and everybody's losing their mind because of how dangerous this thing is. And they were just like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? We're going to run. How we can't run. We can't leave. Oh, we only have to last for a minute. We have to live for a minute. How do we do that?" So they're making all these plans, and then Marnie's brother said, "Well, I don't know about all this stuff. I don't know how about a monster is. I'm just going to shoot it," and shoots it with an arrow and immediately kills it because it was actually a fake monster called a gas spore, and they look exactly like beholders. They look like these uber dangerous things, but they have no abilities.
So in the Harry Potter world, it's a boggart.
That's what he said. You nerds. Oh my God. That's literally what he said. He goes, Is it just a boggart? And I'm like, no, it's not. Okay. It is an animal. It is a creature in its own. It exists. You can't change its form. But it was,
You're like from across the tail. You're like, screw you, J.K. Rowling's
just
for
don't
like
even bring that into my table. But it was great. It was a really, really fun game. And I think that well, I know for sure they both want to play again. And his son and my son Marcus, they spent the night at his house, and they stayed up almost all night drawing pictures of the monsters.
oh
You know,
cool.
like the beholder and the dragon, the belay, and all this stuff, and then building character stat sheets for how they could fight this monster next time, and just basically crunching numbers. It was amazing. I mean, you're
Well,
looking
you
at it
really
going,
did turn them
"Hmm,
into full on nerds. Look at
I
that.
wonder, I wonder how, what, now it has an AC to hit, we have to hit AC of this. How do we hit that? You know, what do we have to be putting out to hit that every single time kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's right, boys, get into the math. Yeah, that's right. That's where D&D rules is all the
See, if
math.
math teachers would just like tap into that,
Well,
they
and you're absolutely right. Because if you think about it, the way different people learn, but like, okay, so we'll talk about this in a minute too, but learning history in school was awful for most of us. You know, it was just boring and I don't understand. Now, I would love the opportunity to take like my son's taking AP US history. I'm like, "Oh man, I would love to do that." And he's like, "What? Why would you love to learn to just boring facts?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. I'm old." But the passion that you have when you get to a certain point for those things, if you could figure out if teachers could learn that passion and then make it about it and then add math in like D&D, that is an excellent way to teach. And I'm sure there are people out there that are doing it already. It's not like we're having an original idea here, but math is awesome and history is awesome. You just have to be in the mood, I guess, to appreciate them.
I think that if I think what would be this would take a lot, but it was like, if you had those parents, especially those dads who like, for instance, history or even math with being able to use like Dungeons and Dragons as part of it or whatever. I think the only other element you would need to have in that is some sort of great equalizer in the classroom to basically take out or shut up the rabble rousers of the classroom. You need that other figure that can help come along. I don't know if that's just like a mom with like a stern look, something along those lines. Maybe that's where you bring in the crotchety old grandpa that just comes up and just like thwacks you on the back of the head every time you talk out of line or something.
That's your reset button. That's your reset button.
Yeah, found it. The
Right
on-off
there.
switch is right there.
Right smack.
Well, and speaking of history, like that's the thing I saw on TikTok, somebody was going around talking about like the different movies that are available on different streaming channels, and
Mhm.
they mentioned Tom Hanks and Greyhound, and they were like, "This is a great dad movie," because it's it's like set back in history. He's like a captain of like a ship it's not the one that got taken over by like
I'm the
the
captain now.
yeah, not that one. This is like history. This is way back.
Hmm.
Um, but basically it's during like a war. And so they were like, yeah, this is like a great dad movie. And I'm like, how dare you? Never mind. I would like that movie. Yes. But you showed me something before we went on record or, recording today. Like you got a really
Hmm.
cool Christmas
Oh.
present.
Oh. Let me pick it up. I got to take two hands. So this is my favorite Christmas present. I'm going to try to put it where the camera can get it.
There it is. The ultimate visual, which that's what we're trying to do here, visual history. What is it? History of the
Of the
World book.
World by
Yeah.
National Geographic. And it is a hardback, full size, illustrated images. Amazing. I want to get this one as
Oh, come on. Focus. Oh, wow.
like a full
Mona
shot.
Lisa.
Oh, yeah. I should
Nice.
take my background off. I'm going to do this. We'd be professional. But a perfect dad book. It's
Yeah.
just chef's kiss, and I put it on my list. And I've had it on my list for a while because because they put them out. I think they put out multiple editions, over the years. And I saw this, and I'm like, oh God, wouldn't that be cool? And of course, my kids are like, what? Like the book? Did you see? I want this book. They're like, oh, neat. Okay, maybe. And then they go play, let's go pick out toys instead, Dad. And I love it. I've barely been able to open it and just look through it briefly, and I'm just amazed by, of course, it's National Geographic. They have a level of professionalism that no one else can reach. Just they're the best when
Oh,
it
yeah.
comes to images
Yeah,
and the
definitely.
research they do. And man, I'm happy. I think it's my favorite gift.
What's like a coffee table book if you venture to have a
Have a
coffee
coffee
table
table.
in your
Yeah.
yeah, if you venture to have a coffee table, which really just turns into like a place for your kid to smack their head while running through the living room or wherever.
Right?
But maybe an end table book, I guess, would be another good thing to have
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, like it looks really awesome. And I think
Mhm.
too, like, it's just one great more way to just annoy your significant other with knowledge of information that they never asked for, but you have it ready to go. It's holstered and ready to.
Marnie truly appreciates fun facts. She understands that that's how people with ADHD show love is they info dump, and
There you
it's
go. Okay.
hilarious because Fabian will show and goes, "Oh, fun fact," and then say something completely unrelated to like he'll talk about an animal and we had mentioned animals. It's about as close as the correlation will come, and I do the same thing. I'm like, well. This is going on, and blah 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 blah. And Marnie just sits until her eyes glaze over a little bit,
It's like
and then
living with a
I stop
live Bing
talking.
search engine. It's all good. Like
Nice.
I don't
Google,
even know
can
if
you
that
help me?
search engine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't need Google. I am Google. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's cool. What else? Did you get anything else for Christmas, or was
I
that
got,
kind of the big thing?
yeah. No, I got this was from my mother-in-law for the secret gift thing that we did. And she didn't
Nice.
think it was enough. So she got me another item off my list, which is a battery operated hand saw.
Oh,
And
yes.
just this little, I mean, and I haven't used it because it's freezing cold outside. I don't have anything I need to cut, but for like cutting limbs and brush and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't remember putting that on my list. That's awesome.
We've had one of those for a couple of years. It's come in super handy. And then also
Hmm.
too, like we have neighbors that sometimes they're trying to like cut things down and you're just like you see them and you're like, no, don't even go that route here. Just
Yeah.
use this. And they're like, this is amazing. So
Hmm.
yeah, those things are fantastic.
Yep. So that's probably the two. I also got a singing bowl. I don't know if you know what the Tibetan singing bowls are.
Oh, is that like the thing where you like go around the edge of it and it like
And it sings a certain note. So I've been wanting one of those for a while. And
that's cool for like
then,
meditation or whatever?
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, Marnie is taking, or I guess we're going to the Upper Peninsula
Ooh.
at the end of January. So I don't know if this will be great or if this will be, why did we do this? We're going to die in the winter. But I told her, I said, look, I don't want to own a hot tub because I don't want to maintain a hot tub, but I really need something that I just really want to sit in a hot tub and let my back stretch out and let, because I'm just all tore up. My muscles are all just awful. And so we're driving down the road and she goes, okay, I made a reservation last weekend in January or something like that up in Houghton, I think it's called. And it's right by the Quincy mine, which is a tourable mine, basically. So you
Cool.
go in and see the facilities and go down in the hole. And I'm like, huh, pretty good, babe. Well done. That's impressive. You did that all on your own too. Because she doesn't like doing things off list. So, but yeah,
That
so
sounds like fun.
it's going to be, and I told her, I said, all I want, because the kids will be home forever, I think. I said, I just need a time to get away from the house and get away from, no offense, but get away from the kids. The winter, the holidays, everything is just taking a lot out of me. I've been very, very depressed, and I just need to get out of the house and not like go downtown and sit at a coffee shop. I need to go somewhere else and not have any responsibilities to anybody. I don't want to take the kids with me. I don't want to have to cook. I don't want to have to clean, nothing. I just need to just reset because it's just, I don't know what's going on this year, but it's been a rough year emotionally for me. And I want to just veg out for another day. So
I
she got me
I
that.
think that that's great, man. Like you're taking care of yourself and
Hmm.
you're, verbalizing that and
Hmm.
Marnie's taking advantage of that too, which is awesome. So I think that that is one of the things that I think that Corey and I are really trying to do as well in our marriage and
Hmm.
just personal life is have those moments. Corey doesn't get a lot of time with friends. She's not
Yeah, you mentioned
prioritize
that.
that. She just doesn't
Yeah.
prioritize it as the thing. And so her and a few other ladies that she went to college with that we meet up very sporadically. Like we actually met up for New Year's Eve with one of them in her
Hmm.
family, but they are going on a weekend trip in March, and so yeah, it's just
Nice.
really important stuff. Like I get away for different little things here and there. My birthday is actually when this posts, it'll probably post like on my birthday, but the Saturday, so January 4th coming up here, since today's the first, I'm going to my first ever NHL hockey game with uh
Nice.
with Matt Lofi from the Dad Ass
Yeah. Yeah.
podcast and a couple guys from here in Cincinnati and just a day. Like I'm going up to Columbus for the day and
Hmm.
we're gonna hit some distilleries and get some food and go watch, some Smash Mouth hockey and it's gonna be awesome. So
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, so that's another fun thing. But yeah, I think that that's important. Like I think if anything for 2025, if you haven't been prioritizing self-care or even couples care because
Hmm.
if like you were talking about like it's hey, what's wrong with these couples, is there something going on? The whole time you were talking about that I was thinking, I'm like, man, like for me, like I'm kind of moving into this position at church of becoming a marriage and family counselor or family minister actually.
Hmm.
And the thing with it is that like you can have those things if you're willing to fight for those things and willing to, put the work in for it. Because that's honestly, I think a lot of times what gets missed when people are like, oh, let's get married and all this stuff. And it's like, do you realize the work that has to be put into it? It's not just a like, great,
Hmm.
I do. We have rings. Oh, awesome. Like we're here in our home. And,
Yeah. You
there's so much more to it.
ask yourself, would I buy a turtle? Would I buy a tortoise right now? Would I buy a tortoise and keep it with me for 50 years? Would I do that? Be able to take care of that turtle, take it with me where I need to, feed it, care for it. And if the answer is no, you probably don't want to get married because, oh my God, my wife's a tortoise.
That's
And
so funny. My wife, I always have called her my turtle because
yeah,
of just that. Like she could
seems
retreat, which
appropriate.
actually she recently was talking to somebody about that we were out somewhere and she was like, "Yeah, he's always called me my turtle, but I honestly, I'm at the point where I am a sea turtle now because I don't have the ability to like retract into my shell, which I'm like, awesome. That means
That's
you changed into somebody who's willing to stand your ground
mhm. And
and
would eat a jellyfish
that too. Yeah,
just in case, if
exactly.
anybody ever needs a jellyfish eaten, you can send it to Corey.
Yeah, and
Oh, I'm
talk
gonna
with a Hawaiian like sweet dude
if I ever see gummy jellyfish,
jellyfish.
I'm grabbing them, send them to Corey. Heard you're
Yes,
a sea
do it.
turtle. Here you go. I don't know if they even make them, but I'll take a look if I
I'm
see
sure
one.
if you find the place, it's very possible. I feel like
Hmm.
almost anything anybody thinks of these days is
Somebody's making
creatable.
it. Yeah, somebody's making it.
Exactly. For Christmas for me though, we didn't really do a ton, just because we put a lot of money into going on a cruise in May. So
Yeah.
we really had told each other we weren't getting each other gifts, which I'm going to tell everybody right now. If you say that, just don't believe it. Like,
Mm.
just don't. Like, find something. Like, don't. That's just that is a trap. That's the best way to put that. Because I didn't think she had gotten me anything for Christmas. I had actually, I went down like the Aldi finds aisle and I would find little things. I'm like, oh, like this, she would like this, she would like that. Like, so I found little things along those lines.
Hmm.
But she, I of course put things in Amazon cart all the time. And she went through and found different things. She's like, oh, like, yeah, he put that in there. He put that in there. So she got me a daily carry knife that's got like the glass break point on it
Hmm.
and the seatbelt cutter.
Hmm.
And typically
Yeah.
those are like a 4-inch knife. Like they're pretty good size. The one that I had put in there was much smaller. It was like under 3 inches actually, and so it's not huge. Like I can carry it on me at all times, and it doesn't feel like I'm lugging around like a massive knife. Just for like those times where you're like, oh, I just need to open this box or whatever it is. So I got that. That was really cool.
Nice.
She bought me a pair of these really cool house shoes, like slippers type of deal. Like you can either just slide your feet into them, like the back like breaks down, or you can flip the back of it up and you got a shoe that's got like an actual like heavy sole on it, so you can go outside.
It's not a crock, is it?
It's not a Croc, no. It's called Teva or Tiva. They're really nice, man. I'll have to send you the link for them because
Yeah.
honestly, like they are thick. Like they've got a nice like you go out in the cold. Like if you're like, oh, I gotta go out and let the dog
Yeah.
out, or
Take
I
the
gotta go
trash
out
out
and
or whatever. Yeah.
crash out or whatever. Like they've got like a an actual like athletic shoe sole to them. So yeah, they're nice. They don't feel paper thin. They don't feel like they're gonna slide off your foot type of deal, which is nice
Cool.
as well. So yeah, so she got me a pair of those. I had put in there that I like the New Balance shoes that I wear for running and everything else. They were on sale, and I had put them in there, so she ended up buying me those. So yeah, just little things like that. Like it was nothing crazy. She tried to buy things too that would be stuff that we could use on our cruise as well. So
Nice. Yeah. Good
that's kind of the
thinking.
other thing. Yeah.
Good
So
job,
like,
Corey.
like we got these like I don't know, they're like rubber straps or whatever. You can put like your carry-on luggage on top of your big luggage thing,
Hmm.
like have it all strapped onto
Hmm.
one to be able to get around.
Very useful.
Yeah. So stuff like that. That's we very practical, which is that's her thing. Like she's
Hmm.
always been a very practical person. So that was what we did there, and it was good. It was just a nice low key Christmas. The kids got lots of fun stuff.
Hmm.
It was just it was good, man. Ruby got an aquarium.
Nice.
Yeah, so she was all like, "When are we going to get a beta fish?" Like that
Yeah.
was
Oh, a
because that was
beta.
her. Yeah, because that was her class pet. Like she loved beta fishes.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Now what she's realizing though is that so in a classroom where there's lots of, commotion things going on or whatever, like that can cause a beta fish to actually move around the aquarium much more because they're
Hmm.
like, oh, there's movement. But when it's just him, the beta fish, in the aquarium and it's in a room where there's not people moving around, like her bedroom, the fish is not going to be as active. And
Hmm.
so we're like, maybe that's not the fish for your bedroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just fun stuff like that. We upgraded
Cool.
Hezekiah's watch to an Apple Watch to help out with
Ooh. All
all of
right.
his medical stuff. So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah, so it was good, man. It was a nice low key Christmas.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah.
I have to say, finding a holiday, the experience isn't stressful. I think that's probably the thing that I'm learning the most. Again, I didn't grow up celebrating Christmas, so you pick up things every year. And at this point, there's two things: is one is set your own traditions. Don't care what other people's traditions are or were. Do what's best for your family, and don't stress. If you're doing something that's stressing you out, that's not what the holiday's for. Whatever that might be. So I love to hear that you had kind of just a calm, smooth, everything's good, you know, type of experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that that's some great rules to live by just in general with holidays or just time
Hmm.
off, like time with your family or whatever. Like it should be relaxing. And
Yeah.
that's so I am excited for 2025. A lot of people, oh yeah. So fun thing real quick here and then so 2025 starts off with a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. WTF, right?
Hmm.
A lot of
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh man, like really 2025 you're going to start off with WTF?"
Yeah.
And I actually decided to change what WTF means as sort of our motto for the year. WTF is not the typical, like what the F. It is actually win the fight. That is 2025's motto, win the fight.
All right.
And
Well
that's
done.
just yeah. So that's Corey and I's marriage motto for the year is win the fight. It has nothing to do with us winning something against each other. It's just the
Yeah.
two of
Yeah.
us winning the
Yeah.
fight of life.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So hopefully other people can come up with something that they can have as their main focus for the year. And I think that's
Yeah.
important to start the
Hmm.
year unified.
I know for me personally, this isn't going to surprise anybody. It's going to be boring, but my mindset for this year is self-care and healthy boundaries. And
Oh,
even
big
though,
surprise there.
yeah, right. And I've been working on this for quite a while, but I recognize more and more that I don't set healthy boundaries with my kids, and that's why I need to go to a hotel and just be quiet and leave me alone. Let me just, I don't know what I'm going to just sleep. I don't know. But I've reached that point already. And it's only been a few months since Home Dad Con. What's going on? I burned out or something. It's something I need to be aware of. And every year I look at it and I think, yeah, you don't set healthy boundaries. You're martyring yourself in some cases. You're putting yourself last. Like I think we all know we make chicken dino nuggets for our kids and they only eat three of them and we eat the other three cold. Because it's someone's got to eat it, and that's the kind of the sacrifice of dad life, of parent life, and I really want to try to come out of 2025 with the idea that I did set healthy boundaries that were good for me and good for the people around me, and then that I took care of myself better than I ever have. And that's not a resolution. We don't really do those, but that's my thought for 2025. Win the fight and take care of yourself.
Yeah, I think those are two great tangible goals that you can actually look back on and there's an evaluation that can be seen on,
Hmm.
how did you do on that? So, love it. I think that is just a great way to kick off the year. I'm happy to be coming into 2025, getting to talk to you and everybody else on a weekly basis and I'm excited for, just everything that is going to be thrown at us this year. We're gonna take it head on, and
Hmm.
it's gonna be a good year. So, hope it's a good year for everybody else that's listening. Thank you again for listening to this show. Please like, subscribe, and share this so that others can hear this podcast as well. We really want to grow it this year even more. And until next week, y'all have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.